Juggernaut Cloud. Today I'm going to be showcasing a few different examples of how you can use Juggernaut to improve your business, right? So for those who don't know, Juggernaut is a platform that allows you to create these powerful, reusable workflow templates. You can create it once, you can define all of your business logic, your rules, use a combination of large language models, third-party tools and integrations, and in the end get an answer and decision that you can be a lot more confident about. So in previous videos I was able to showcase things like education, trading, but now it's time to show you a business use case. So there are many times that I want to do research on a company, whether it's a prospect, a competitor, or just a company that I'm curious about, right? This workflow allows me to do so without the stress and hassle, right? So this process has two different inputs. You give it a company name and a company website. Over the various steps, it's going to use large language models in combination with web search to do research on this company and give me a really in-depth analysis in the end. So the way that Juggernaut works is that you're able to break your workflow or pipeline, or process into different phases that we call pipelines. So I like to think of these phases as different milestones within your workflow. It's a great way for you to organize your workflow. And the great thing about it is it's a great way for you to build in a way that is modular, right? So this company research pipeline contains 7 different tasks, and since it's its own individual pipeline, I can actually connect this pipeline to 10 other workflows. The power of that being that if I were to make one change to my company research pipeline, all of my other workflows would be updated as well. So that can be both good and bad, right? It allows us to create really scalable workflows. Thinking of tools like make.com or N8N, this just simply isn't possible, right? Each workflow is its own individual siloed thing, and if you want to make changes, you need to do so for each individual workflow. So I won't be going into all the details of how this works, just to kind of give you an overview and summary. So the first thing that we do is we want to determine what's the core offering that this business has. So we're creating something called core offering. We're using Gemini 2.5. We can select from various different models, so this allows us to mix and match to our advantage. We can define prompts. I'll be doing a little bit of a deeper dive on that momentarily. We can define agentic tools, and we can also set up advanced things like turning on web search, expanding the maximum amount of tokens that this particular task can do. Then we're figuring out the core features, the market analysis. We're generating text, we're generating structured outputs, and pretty much what we're doing is we're building up a very rich report, but doing so over time. So an example of how it's able to build upon its information over time. Let's look at one of these prompts. So this is the 4th step. It's called business market quadrant segmentation. So we want to take this business and figure out where they fit within their broader industry. So we're able to define all of our instructions, a role like you are a seasoned market strategist. Your expert lies in analyzing market dynamics. We give our instructions, and then we're also able to give the correct context, but in a unique way. So, company market analysis was actually something that was generated in a previous step. So we're able to, leverage that information here, and it'll factor that in to this task when it's generating its output. We're also able to, reference our inputs, so the information that the user gives us, if needed as well. Alright, so just to kind of speed up this demo, the next phase of our workflow is SWOT analysis: strengths, weaknesses, opportunities, threats, unique value proposition. And then we give it a score, and then we're also going to save all of this information in our database so that we can, reference it later. So let's dive into the execution of this. There's 3 different ways that you can execute this workflow. You can do so directly in the platform by clicking the execute button. Here you'll be prompted to add, the information. You can trigger this with an API from an external system. So this allows you to extend Juggernaut in just about any way, right? Since we have a REST API. Or you can schedule these processes to run on a recurring basis, whether it's, hourly, daily, weekly, monthly cadence. But let's dive into some of the results. So what we'll be looking at is a company called make.com. This is one of our competitors. And before I show you what the full output looks like, I will just kind of walk you through some of the outputs. So as I mentioned, every task has an output. We're able to view everything here, so we're able to get a sense of how it was able to come to its final conclusion. We can identify points of failure here, areas of improvement of our workflow, or just get more insights on this. We're also able to get a cost and usage breakdown, by model, and also figure out how long it took for this workflow to run. This is typically, where a lot of these platforms will end. They'll just give you the outputs in a unstructured form, and you kind of need to work on it on your own after that. But with Juggernaut, we allow you to create what's called a process-driven application. So this is the ability to create a interactive interface around your data, just so it's a lot more consumable. And in some cases, you want to take follow-up actions. So this is a full, application that I was able to create and deploy. If I wanted to, I would be able to add follow-up actions. So this presents all the information for me in kind of this clean way. I can get an overview, I can view the market analysis, and also SWOT analysis, right? In some cases, I might want to do a follow-up action, maybe do competitive analysis. So this would take the information that it took from make.com and compare it with Juggernaut Labs, right? And create another report or action item for me to review, right? So this is just a very small example of creating a process-driven application in Juggernaut. And like, subscribe, follow for more. We have a lot of other examples. If there's certain types of use cases that you want to see more, feel free to reach out and we can make some content like that.